McGonagall's got some really good, like she wants to use gaming to change the world. So she came up with some stuff, and she was doing some research. I think early on in her academic career, she was doing research on WoW gaming specifically and how much work is actually done. So she was like computing how much actual work is happening, even though it's, game work, like what is actually going on. And so she wrote a whole thing on the fact that you'll do repetitive tasks in Guild Wars and WoW and games like this. You'll do repetitive tasks over and over and over and over again. And so she was like, why would we do that? Because you don't really get excited about shoveling the walk over and over and over again or doing things in the real world over and over again. But you do just mundane, like grinded out
crafting
work all the time, right? And so she was coming up with the intrinsic and extrinsic reward systems, and she was kind of working through that stuff. And that's what I did my second master's thesis on, was that exact thing about how you could do that in a classroom.
That was my master's thesis was all about intrinsic and extrinsic motivation, because performing arts people.
She copied my paper, is what she just said. Alexis, did you get that?
No,
she just took my paper and academic theft. Now you're on tape. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be vicious. I'm just teasing you, Tess.
But it was all about how performing arts kids are so extrinsically motivated that you can really exploit that as an educator. Ooh. If you know that you have a kid that's a performing arts kid, you can so exploit that extrinsic motivation, because they get most of their self-worth from other people's opinions. Mm-hmm. So that's what my whole thing was about.
It's very interesting, though. Her book, you got to read her book, Militus. Jane McGonagall's got a book.
I didn't know she had a publication out. You guys make my master's thesis sound boring. Yours sounds really interesting.
Yours was on some brain thing and how it affects your
brain.
Mine
was working memory capacity.
See? That's cool.
Individual differences.
Yeah.
Working memory capacity, individual differences in a simulated task.
I love how we're like comparing our master's theses. See? Like, what?
I couldn't even do that. That's why yours is so much better than mine. I couldn't even do it. But no. Her books are really cool. There's the other guy is Jesse Schnell. You got to see his stuff. Have you ever seen that?
Oh no, go ahead.
Jesse Schnell. He works out of the game. Oh, it's Boston. What's the place up in Boston that does? It's like Boston's MIT.
MIT is in
California.
We're talking about Harvard.
No, isn't there? There's Boston something.
Anyway. MIT is Massachusetts.
Yeah, it's in Boston.
Maybe, yeah. No, it's not that though. Maybe it's Cambridge. No, that's not Cambridge.
That's definitely not in Boston.
Yeah, that's the UK. No. I'm trying to think where he works, but I thought it was in Boston. But it's not. It's not MIT, but it's like that.
Boston University?
No, it's something. Anyway, he works there, and he's developed some really cool gaming theories that are like, you just listen to him and you're just like, oh my gosh. He's got a theory about how the world's going to be gamified soon because it's just the ability to motivate people through it makes it a marketer's dream. And if the marketers could actually get the technology into the hands of people, and your Coke can now all of a sudden is interactive, and then you can make it into a game about how much soda you drink. He's like, soda drinking is going to go through the roof.
Oh, God.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's
Have you guys read Ready Player One yet?
I have not read Ready Player One.
All right. That is homework. You both need to read Ready Player One.
Okay, You've got to read it. I'll read that as long as you guys read Abundance.
I have Abundance.
Did I buy you Abundance?
No, I had to get it for my master's stuff.
Oh.
So then if I have to read Abundance and Ready Player One, you all have to read Present Shock by Rushkoff.
Present Shock.
Present Shock.
Do you guys remember I think it was 60s book, Future Shock? You ever heard that book? It talked about, all the upcoming technology, how it's going to change the world.
Mm-hmm.
Present Shock is looking kind of at presently the kind of impacts. Like the basic of the book is the Twitterization of narrative.
Mine is fiction.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, no, you would find this very interesting test
because
you would love it.
Okay.
Because the book tackles basically how we're condensing narrative.
go get Ready Player One, read it. Now here's the deal. If you're a younger person, it may go a little over your head because there's so much 80s trivia, 80s music, 80s gaming.
No, it's just she only likes this book because Will Wheaton reads it.
Wrong. Well,
that
helped in the audio, but I've reread it like 7 times, and I've listened to the unabridged audio version by Will Wheaton like twice.
Crush on Will Wheaton. It's a legit crush on Will
Wheaton. It is. I have a total nerd crush on Will Wheaton. Just a nerd crush. He's married. I'm married.
I don't
it's not
think
weird.
He's that great. I'm sorry.
I think he's wonderful. I think he's a genius.
I don't think he's that great. Just saying. What happened?
Militas! Oh my god. Oh my god.
I'm like digging through the chat here to see it.
But actually, guys, I'm actually okay. So just heads up, I might be hitting you guys up. How would you guys feel about authoring a paper?
I'm sorry?
Authoring a paper with me about like the future of education, public education.
That's a very broad topic.
Yeah, I was like, this is going to be a big paper.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I don't know exactly what the focus is going to be, but my father is extremely bright man. Is completely a business guy. He's totally a business guy. And we have some of the best conversations about education, public education. And he is obviously, I am from a completely public education trained background. He is from a completely private sector business background. And we have really interesting conversations. And for a while, I've been wanting to write a paper. And I'd love to get the psych background and an admin background. So if I hit you guys up, I mean, no rush, but
you know me, I'm in for everything all the time.
Yeah, I'm always in for intellectual discourse. So whatever format of it's
right in the middle, of it.
That's how you solve intellectual problems.
Yeah, that's what I do. Like if I was in a debate, a political debate, and they said something, I'd just be like,
I got my nails done.
And then everybody
like them?
Me. Everybody vote for me after that.
Oh wow, very nice.
They're great.
Here's the thing.
I like your idea.
If we do the book or the paper, making a book now test.
Boy, you went all the way to book. That got quick. I was like, this is getting heavy.
It's getting heavy. We have to convene in Colorado with lots of alcohol to discuss the paper.
Hell yes, we do.
In Colorado, there's other things too.
If my father is involved, the heavens will open and it will rain brown water. Just saying already. We have a cabin up in Fairplay.
You told me and you offered. I'm going to take you up on that at some point. Say no.
Well,
it would be so much fun if all of our families and peeps got together and we could. Yeah, that would be awesome.
It'd be fun.
Yeah,
super awesome, fun times.
Yep.
We think, Boone, would you make the drive from Utah back to Colorado if Milla made it to Colorado?
Absolutely. How far into the future are you talking here, Tess?
About
are we talking
doing
like
this
next
paper?
Year?
Summer?
No, I'm talking about how you're talking about the future of education, like how far in the future?
Oh, not.
Are we talking like?
Far.
Are we talking like science fiction 300 years from now?
Talking singularity.
We're talking like.
No, I'm talking just basic reform.
Next week. Oh, basic reform.
Yeah.
So, an oxymoron.
I don't even exactly know. Like kind of having a conversation about what would the best school system, what would it look like? Like even if it was just in 5 years or 10 years, what would it look like? If we had our druthers and we could do anything we wanted, what would that look like?
Norway.
Well, and I
It
am
would
a
look
fan.
a lot like Norway.
Oh, I gave that book to my dad. I have another great book about all the different educational systems of the world. And yeah, I mean, Norway is awesome. I will say this though, in my studies, I feel bad for the United States. I feel really bad. We get kind of a bad rap.
Yeah, we do.
But it's not fair. And the reason it's not fair is because our best performing states are as good as Norway, and our worst performing states are as bad as a third world country. Like we are so big and so diverse that lumping all of our information into one is really difficult to do. And it tends to even us out into a really bad spot. But the people who are doing well are doing really well. Yeah. And the people who are doing bad are doing really bad, so.
Norway just plays the ratios, by the way.
Well, Norway is the size of Arkansas.
We had a delegation go to there, and I got to pick their brains when they came back, and they gave a presentation to the state senate here on it, and I was later, by the way, after this presentation, I had to get embarked into a yelling match with the senator, but that's a whole nother story. Anyway, basically, all the feedback that I got from them was it's just they really played that optimal 14-to-1 ratio of adult to student. And so they had so it looks like us in the sense they have one teacher per like 30 students, but they'll put 2 or 3 other adults in that room. And so they have so stinking much help in each room that they are great at differentiation. They differentiate like unbelievably.
But they also don't have any arts in the public schools.
Yeah, they change everything. No sports.
They no sports. No.
Yeah, they do some things like that.
No music. No art.
Do you guys know how I feel about sports programs, right? Because you hear me yell at it on the top of the mountain all the time because I'm like, I get it. I understand why they're there, but LSU is declaring bankruptcy, and yet 3/4 of every dollar of tuition goes to that stinking football program to keep it going, and now they have to declare bankruptcy. And so I just. Are you
serious? That's recent.
They're actually declaring that's real.
Yeah, and so this is why I get kind of frustrated with it. We just had a Utah State just put out their report, and they were talking about how much if you're not one of the top 1 or 2 programs in the country, almost the entire football program is funded by the tuition. And they were talking about what an expense it is. They were like, we could lower tuitions by over half if we didn't support the football program, but we can't get people to come without a football program.
Yeah.
So come for Guild Wars 2, right? Stay for educational reform.
So it's like your Western governors, Militus, right? They can offer different academic things because they're not supporting a football team.
Right.
And it gives them more flexibility to do new things with technology and different stuff, and so a lot of these schools have a hard time, surviving. But that they don't deal with that in Norway, so that's one thing.
Even at the I teach at a community college, which is not the university, but you would think that wouldn't be a problem for us, but 3 years ago. Right, I had a group of 5 students. I wanted to take them to a regional academic conference to present research that they had done.
Right.
So I petitioned the president. I said, look at the research. It's fantastic. It's good. They have posters, presentations. They have papers. They're ready to talk. I need $600. $600.
Right. $600.
Denied for financial reasons.
Right.
I opened the college newspaper. I'm not kidding you, Tess. 2 weeks later, Walter State golf team goes to Hawaii for a tournament. I'm thinking, what the fuck are you talking about?
At the cost
you flew 9 people to Hawaii and you put them up in a hotel and you pay for all their shit to play junior college golf?
And so what I was getting at with this, because I think Militus makes the point, is there's your paper test.
No doubt.
Go after education reform, but go after the fact that we're wasting money that could be used for academics.
Like
on
at
things.
Elizabeth, do you know how much they spent every single year? Now, Elizabeth, so you know, Milla, how big was that town? Boom.
2,000 people maybe.
Yeah,
In the
I mean, it's
actual town.
small town.
Yeah.
It reminds me of a Plains town. I mean, it's not Denver. We're not talking about a large community. A little tiny Elizabeth. Population 2,000, had 2 elementary schools, a middle school and a high school. Had its own stadium.
It was a nice stadium.
The high school at its peak was 931. Am I about right? Boom.
Yeah, that was like, it was only 600 kids by the time
When
we
I left. Yeah, by the time we left, it was
down to 600.
But 900 kids in the entire school at its peak had its own stadium, and it's a nice stadium. And for all the football, they spent over $100,000 a year maintaining the stadium.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was in a debate with a certain higher up in Arizona's government, and he was telling me, he's like, we don't have the money to do this program. And I was like, oh really? You just spent more money on a brand new stadium for 3 or 4 football teams to kind of conglomerate in, which was a beautiful facility, by the way. You spent more money on that than you did this education program just a little while ago. Like, it's just like they fart money out for a stadium, and then they tell people lies, and they say, well, the ticket sales and all this stuff pay for it. No,
No, they
Doesn't
don't.
pay for it.
And that's the other thing is, like, I'm sitting here, and at the school that I'm at, we're really lucky in that the theater department and Boom's seen our shows. Like, we don't do high school theater. Would you agree with that, Boom?
It's so freaking fantastic and fun to watch.
Yeah.
He
We
posted
do,
some of it to Facebook. I saw your talent. Tess.
Just the
oh,
well,
not
that was-
mine,
that
but
was
this I'm
her.
talking about the kids,
Yeah,
Mike,
you
like
should see the
what I
ones where
direct.
kids do. They're crazy good.
Amazing. And I'm tooting my kids' horn. I'm sorry, but I'm going to brag. My kids have 100%, perfect placements post-secondary. If a kid of mine auditions for a college program, they get it.
Wow.
Last year, my seniors split over $500,000 worth of scholarships. Show me an academic program that does that shit. On the money that we have, we run on a deficit every year. And we do not charge our kids anything to be a part of it. Whereas in order to be on the football team,
Athletics,
you have to pay
right.
like $150 if you're lucky a season.
Oh,
and
yeah. The kids pay a ton of money.
a
just to be on
ton.
the football
And we're
team.
Parents, yeah.
we're in
the parents,
75% free and reduced lunch.
Golly, wow.
And yeah, so I'm beyond. We lost our accompanist. They cut our accompanist. So now we had to do a Kickstarter to pay for our accompanist for choir.
Okay, I got this.
Like, it's
Hey, Tess, do you? We're recording a podcast. I'm guessing you podcast on your smartphone. Yes.
huh?
You listen to several
Oh yeah,
podcasts.
yeah.
Do you ever listen to one called Star Talk with Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Oh yeah. I haven't listened in a really long time.
Listen to the one last week. You will love it. It's the science of creativity. Mm-hmm. And they're talking about the relationship of arts and science.
oh yeah,
It's fantastic. It's so
Well,
good.
well, education is starting. You've heard of STEM, I'm sure, Militus,
sure.
right?
This
Well,
week
it's
on the
starting- It's starting to get away from STEM and it's going towards STEAM.
Yeah, that's what I've heard of that new acronym.
And then
Yeah.
you know what the other one is called, by the way?
What?
The newer one, Stream. And so when the guy mentioned Stream to me the other day, because I was talking to the California guy who runs the STEM
What's
program.
R?
It's reading. So you got Stream, and then so I just said school. So my new
So
one, my new acronym is
everythings.
school. Yeah, which is because I don't.
Let's-
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean
I
to
mean,
cut you off.
I
but-
like literacy. I'm 100. Don't get me wrong. I'm a hardcore reader. I think literacy is important. But if I teach music, please stop making me go to all your literacy crap. I will support you with what you need me to do.
Well, they're different, in my opinion. They're different levels of education you should target those initiatives for. STEM or STEAM is clearly, in my opinion, a secondary targeting
Yeah.
program, whereas literacy is a more of an elementary and middle school targeting program.
Except for when you get it to my level and my kids can't read.
Well, that's a big fucking failure.
You want to know? You want to know what the end of the day is, though? Is if we got away because of standards, we can't teach to domain topics anymore, and everybody's
There are
trying
too
to get,
many standards.
Everybody's trying to get down to the skill-based concept out of every little topic, and all you have to do is throw a domain in, and all of a sudden everybody goes for it. Which is why science and history are so great, because they're domain-heavy topics. And if you can come up with a great domain like going to Mars, and you can apply that to an entire lesson, then guess what? All the kids read, everybody's engaged, everything kind of increases. But the minute we're told don't do domain topics, you get a real thin education. And then what
Yeah.
happens is you get Swiss cheese gaps. Nobody is able to do all this stuff. It just gets all jarbled. And that's what we've got right now, is a very jarbled education system from that.
But the sad thing is, this is what's so sad. I also think that there's a huge disconnect between just a general love of learning right now with the kids. And that because, for example, right now we're getting ready for registration for next year. And I'm reading through all of these classes that we're offering. We offer forensic science. Like they cover the room in blood and have to do blood collection and all the CSI stuff. Like, how cool is that?
Is it real blood?
No.
Okay.
No.
Good.
Well, it's real. It's
Probably pig blood or something.
pig blood.
Oh,
Yeah.
my
But,
gosh, that's gross. That's just gross.
It's so cool. It looks so cool. And what else do we offer? Militus will like this one. What's the and I took this class and I can't remember it now. It's the side of psychology where you get into like DID and you get into like the really weird stuff.
Abnormal?
Abnormal. Thank you. Abnormal psychology. We offer an abnormal psych class. Like, how cool is that?
Yeah, that's very cool.
One of my favorite things that I ever did in college was I took my abnormal psych class. I had to either write a paper or go to therapy. So I went to therapy. It was
Cool.
awesome. I loved it. It was so much fun. And then
Do you
they
remember
asked me-
what type of therapy you went to?
Are you still in therapy?
I don't know what type. It was just
Didn't
one-on-one.
even catch
I
that.
gotcha. Okay.
They everything this it was all these
she went to-
these like graduate students that needed people to work on type of thing. And this my girl was like Hawaiian and she was so exotic looking. And she everything I would call my mom. I would kind of make fun of it because every time I would bring something up, she'd be like, "And how does this relate to your relationship with your mother?"
Oh,
I'd be like-
she must. You just told me what type of therapy.
Oh, okay.
By
Because
saying
then
that, you just alluded to it.
oh, okay,
That,
I'm sorry.
that was the psychoanalytic approach to therapy,
Oh, okay.
which is based on Freud's work,
Jug-
because it's
Jugs-
all about past relationships and
Jugs
how
brought up a good point.
So
those
I would-
impact recurring
I would
patterns.
call my mom every week. I'd be like, "Mom, let me tell you how you fucked up my life this week." So
Jugs
and I
brought up a
loved
really
it,
good
but
point.
At the
Tess.
end, I wish I knew what this was. At the very end, the last session, the actual professor, her professor came in and asked me all these questions that I don't know what I said. It was all of these kind of like association type things.
Yes.
Yeah.
And was like, if you could describe your therapist as an animal, what animal? And to this day I'll never
Dickosaurus.
forget. I said she's like a tropical bird.
There you go. That's nice.
It's free association.
And I don't know what he
Ooh.
got from that.
Boy,
But
if somebody
I
did free
really hope she
association
got
with
an
me,
A
it'd be
because I had
bad.
a good time doing it.
We're gonna do
But
that.
I'll-
That's gonna be next week's game. Free association.
There you
But
go.
I'm gonna do
My
a free
favorite
association
part-
game. It's gonna be like weenus.
my
Free
favorite
association.
Dickosaurus.
My favorite part of that class, I have to tell you this, was I had a crazy ass friend. He was absolutely fucking crazy and ran his car into a tree on purpose just to get attention like the night before finals. So here I am sitting in the emergency room with my friend. We're sitting here and we're studying for finals while we're waiting for the doctor to come out and tell us how our friend is. And how we studied for abnormal psych is we were diagnosing our friend.
Nice.
So we went through all like,
Nice.
do you think he's schizophrenic? Maybe. How, you know?
That's too funny.
There you go. I love that class. That was my favorite.
It's a fun
launch.
class.
3 minutes.
Until what?
Till podcast launch.